What did you find out about your friend's sex life that actually shocked you? My best friend uses blowjobs as bribery to an insane degree. I mean, I'm not above a little BJ bribery myself, but she uses it on her husband like several times a day. Wants coffee, but doesn't want to make it. BJ. Doesn't want to clean the dishes. BJ. It's her turn to walk the dogs. BJ. It's kind of hilarious. She's super lazy, but prefers giving him head to doing most chores, and apparently it works for him too. She also doesn't want sex as often as he does, so she finds this keeps him happy, and she doesn't feel the need to put out as much, all of which I find hilarious. In high school, a classmate of mine was bragging one day about losing his virginity to a lady in our community who happened to be the mother to a girl a grade above us. We all called bullshit and asked why he'd make something like that up, cause not only is it not believable, it just wasn't even a funny lie. Fast forward 6 months and fellow classmate has to leave class on multiple occasions to go to court. Older lady was bragging to a coworker about sleeping with said classmate, and now older lady is a sex offender. That they didn't have a sex life. We are all in our late 20s and they got married last year. Around 2 months after the wedding, I was joking about the lingerie set I bought her on her bachelorette trip and asked if she had worn it after the honeymoon. She looked at me straight and said no. I thought we were having a light-hearted conversation, friends for 9 years, like we have always had, and was taken by surprise. She followed up with, I'm married now, so I closed shop. He can have sex when I try for a baby, but once I have a kid it's over. They just had their first child this month. It's going to be a long 50 years for her husband. I used to frequent Craigslist back before they banned anything even resembling a dating or hookup ad. I once placed an ad and got a response from a guy on my team at work asking if I wanted to fuck his wife. As in bluntly asking, hey buddy, you wanna fuck my wife? Your email address is stripped off when using their built-in email system, but the name on your email account comes through. The response was in this guy's name, which is unique, and he included a picture of his wife who I have met. The pic didn't show her face, but she has some visible tattoos, so there is zero doubt it was her. One of my former best friends and his fiancée had been together for nearly 5 years and due to be married in a few months when this happened. They were very open about their sex life, saying it was awesome and that they had their fun nearly every night. A few months before the wedding, she confided in me that they had actually never had sex before because he was scared. Apparently he had her act like they were having daily sex to make it seem like everything was normal. First couple years they tried and didn't get anywhere with sex. After that he just lost interest in her. Apparently the mental abuse in the relationship was pretty high too, which she completely hid from everyone to save his ass. This story is why this best friend is now a former best friend. My friend was US Army / Special Forces / Green Beret and would go on regular shadow fucking dates. He would find people online, mostly on Craigslist, this was in the 2012, and set up random anonymous sex liaisons with people he had never met, spoken with, or had even seen. He would show up to an unlocked apartment or house, fuck in the dark without ever seeing or speaking, and bail. One day we were playing Xbox, he got an email, said don't unpause it, I gotta go fuck real quick. He left, did the deed, and brought a 6-pack back all within an hour, sat down and kept playing. This happened a few different times and I think about it often. My best friend in college got in a pretty kinky sexual relationship with this dude for a while. They'd do BDSM type stuff, none of which is particularly shocking to me, but I remember visiting her apartment and seeing a spoon out randomly in her room and asked why it was there. She said she loved the taste of his cum so much he'd jerk off onto the spoon and feed it to her while she was tied up. I didn't think she'd ever really shock me, but that one took the cake. My girlfriend in HS was friends with this girl who was super quiet and pretty nerdy, totally innocent in every sense of the word. When she was like 12 or so, her mom got remarried to this dude who had a son around her age. Well, at around 16 or so, my HS girlfriend finally got stoned / drunk with me one night and told me that this girl didn't want to lose her virginity, so her and her stepbrother had been doing anal regularly for months. All I remember was being like, the fuck? and then going home and masturbating furiously to the idea of it. After several years I found out that one of my female friends wore a strap-on and fucked her husband up but almost every time they had sex. I don't remember how the topic even came up, but apparently that was just how he liked it, and she was happy to oblige. He said that when he was 20 he did try it with another man, but didn't really find any enjoyment in it because he likes playing with tits while getting plowed, so he only likes it when it's coming from a woman wearing a strap-on. My best friend married his high school sweetheart. I knew they were both virgins when they got married. What I did not know, and only found out when they eventually got divorced, was that they only had sex about 20 times during their 10-year marriage. The wife evidently got zero enjoyment from sex, and only did it when she wanted to get pregnant. They had 3 kids, and all happened relatively easily/quickly. He was not allowed by her to masturbate or look at porn, although he did behind her back. This had nothing to do with religion or anything like that, just how she personally viewed sex. My friend, who didn't really know any better, just assumed that's what marriage was supposed to be like. He's now remarried to an incredible woman who evidently loves sex and has been more than willing to make up for all the time my friend was in an essentially sexless relationship. I've never seen him so happy. A friend of mine came out as asexual. I had never met anyone who was asexual, so I asked a lot of questions within his comfort level about what that meant and what it's like to be in a relationship. He said he just doesn't have a sex drive, doesn't find anything sexual, doesn't want to be sexual, and is otherwise completely indifferent to sex. He said even though he's had sex, he's felt this way his whole life. He's been with his girlfriend for over 5 years. She is not asexual. She sleeps with other people. He's totally fine with it. He's not interested in progressing the relationship. She's cool with it for now. His biggest thing is that he's scared of how his family would react if they found out, and that they would assume he was just suppressing homosexuality. Turns out even people with no sexuality are still afraid of what others will think of them. I was housemates with a good friend of mine for several years. I found one of his shirts in my laundry one day, so I decided to fold it up and put it away for him. I opened a drawer that I assumed would contain shirts, and half of it was full of adult-sized baby diapers. Took me weeks to ask him about what I saw, but I just had to because I couldn't unsee it. He was forthcoming about his kink, but it was weird, since he was a really straight-laced kind of guy. He got the last laugh when my brother inadvertently brought me Noro for Christmas, and I just couldn't stop shitting myself. He left one on my bed while I was in the bathroom with a note that said, "They're one size fits all." Edit. Noro means norovirus. People tend to get it on airplanes, and it's a dumpster fire of an illness. Wash your hands. My friend finally got his first girlfriend now at the age of 20. I'm super happy for him, as it seems they have a lot in common and seem to really enjoy each other's company. He was talking with myself and another friend while out to eat, and we jokes around with him about if he smashed yet. He said no, but mentioned he did other things. I questioned him on that, and he became kind of timid. We egged him on a little bit and he admitted that he fingered her. However, him being him, he wasn't used to the sounds that came along with it, as well as his girlfriend's moans. He said when he started, he began silently giggling to himself because of the wet noises, and eventually burst out laughing in his famous, to us, high-pitched chortle after she moaned loudly. She was supposedly upset when it happened, but now they're both able to laugh about it. I had a friend that I worked with. We got pretty close and used to go out for drinks and chat. I knew she had a really rough childhood, but she didn't give the nitty-gritty details. I could tell it upset her. One night she just sort of blurts out that she killed a man. I was like, what? Apparently her uncle used to repeatedly rape her when she was 12 to 15ish, and he was living at their house. She told her mom and she didn't believe her. So it continued. When she was in college, she was home for a family event and saw him. He tried getting some mindfuck going on her and reminding her of it and trying to act like he owned her. That night she went to his place and put a bullet in his head. He was heavy into the meth game and was cooking for years. Police just wrote it off as a drug deal gone bad. She has never told her family. Obviously, it was her. I don't blame her. She tried telling them once, and they failed to protect her. I know murder is bad, but I say good fucking riddance. I have a friend I've known since I was a youngin'. This guy was the most successful with getting laid in our group of nerdy goofuses. Last winter he came out as bi, and that was pretty jarring to the friend group, because we had seen him as most hetero of our group. 2 months later, he came out as a her, and that was a bigger surprise as we were still accustoming to this newer more open version of our friend. At the time, we were working at the same company and spent a lot of time in the truck together. I took the opportunity to pick her brain. She was cool with it. Basically what I got out of it is that my friend prefers getting fucked in the ass hard rather than doing the penetrating. Then she said she'd be okay with losing her penis, like if it just stopped working, because she wasn't into having one. I was shook. As a guy with a penis that enjoys the benefits of having a penis, it was hard for me to understand. In no time we all had no hiccups referring to her by her new name, and she seems really happy, so I'm glad my friend's getting fucked in the ass. Playing King's Cup up at a cabin one night. My friend, super fucking cool dude, literally everybody loves him, is playing with us. I've known him for almost 10 years. Met him in college in our fraternity. He is a badass. I knew he was a sexually adventurous dude, usually has someone he is hooking up with if he doesn't have a girlfriend. But this still shocked me. My turn is up and I've never. It had gotten to the point when you start targeting people with your I've nevers, so I target the girls. I've never sucked a dick, I said. He puts a finger down. I look at him, absolutely shocked. I ask him, what the fuck? Really? He looks at me with the straightest face and says I've lived, motherfucker. Now said. He owned it like a champion. So much fucking respect for him. I probably would have lied in his shoes. What a fucking champion.